Good morning or afternoon, depending on when you are joining me. I'm going to talk to you just briefly about diaries, or if that's too floofy for you, we can call them journals, and how diaries or journals are primary sources and why they're important to historians. So, as people study history, we get our information from primary sources. As you remember, primary sources are those things that were made or written during the time that you're studying. So if I am studying the Revolutionary War, I want to look for things that were made or written during the Revolutionary War. If I'm studying the Civil War, I'm looking for information that comes from somebody who was alive at the time of the Civil War, so I know what it was like for them. An example I have on my bookshelf is growing up in the 1850s, the Journal of Agnes Lee. Now she didn't name it that, but somebody found her journal and turned it into a book. And now I bought it because I wanted to know what life was like before the Civil War. And what's the best way to know that? Read a journal. Real people's information about what they did, why they did it, and how they felt. When I'm studying a war, like I said, a great place for information is soldiers' journals or letters. When my brother, let's see, where is he? He's I can't get my hand to work. That one. There you go. When he was fighting in Afghanistan, I gave him a journal and I told him to write about what it was like to be over there and the things that they saw and the things that they did and how it felt, because that would be important for people to know about later if they were studying history and they wanted to know what it was like for people during that time, because believe it or not, somebody is going to want to know that. Right now, you're living in a very interesting time in history where you are living when there is a disease that's spreading all over the world and schools are closed and people are being told to stay inside. What is that experience like for you? What we want you to do every day is to keep a journal. Miss Murray is going to give you information about how she wants you to do that. But the point is to keep track of what your thoughts or feelings, what you see, what you hear, just what you're doing in your everyday life during this time. And believe it or not, that's going to be important to somebody later when they're studying. It doesn't have to be long. Sometimes in journals, people might just write an entry that's a few sentences. Just, I did this today. Nothing crazy happened. Or if something really interesting or important happened, they might write more about it that day. So that is going to be your task, is to keep a journal. And I decided that I should probably keep one too.